Hey yo, I know how to put a smile on your face if it's looking like a frown right now. It's another brand new episode of the DOD45 Show, and we're gonna be chatting with Sage Francis.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
DOD45.
This is the DOD45 Show, drawing over discussions 45 minutes with a special guest. Welcome. I'm your host and resident artist, Ty of Art by Ty, and with my co-host, Adrienne Taiwali'i, we're having conversations with people who I admire and am inspired by. On this episode, I'll set a 45-minute timer, put my pen to the paper, and we'll learn about our guest through an interview-style discussion. So stay right here with us to experience some laughs and maybe even learn a thing or two.
DOD45.
Shot through the heart, and you're too lame, baby. You give love. You know the rest of the lyrics to that song? Mm-mm. Good day. Welcome, humans. Okwa Adrienne ya. Malo Adrienne. Hello. It feels like we've been gone forever, but we really have. But episodes have been continuing to air. Greetings, humans. How are you? How are you got your headphones situated? You got your what do you got in there? Oh, just a regular drink?
Yeah, I don't know. The camera makes
it look like you're drinking Coco Samoa from a giant mug.
It's just the protein shake.
Hey, we're back from Samoa. Now we're in Hannibal, Missouri. And today we're going to be talking with Sage Francis. He's going to come in and we're going to talk about Strange Fame Fest and get a little inside of how Rhymefest went. That was a festival that just kept adding more and more headliners to the show. I was in California back in April. We'll recap that. But before we do that, I wanted to mention that I really enjoyed my time in Samoa, and I'm having a hard time. I'm struggling to get motivation to get back into like working because Samoa life is so slow paced, don't you think? Not slow paced. What do you? Well, first of all, how was your Samoa? How did you feel about Samoa, Adrienne?
It was good. It was a lot better this time than the last time.
Yeah, the last time we were in Samoa, like it was right after my dad died, and then it was a major culture shock for you, right?
Yeah, I felt bad for the living conditions of people and for the animals.
You mean the living conditions for people?
For people, and then the dogs, and we didn't really see cats then, but then as time went on, I realized that, it not necessarily should be the way it is here, there. And then I didn't feel bad anymore.
Yeah. Can I interject? I guess not interject. When you say the living conditions, because when you first see the way people live in Samoa, it is definitely a culture shock because. So okay, wait, sorry. So your feeling the first time you saw it is you felt like, oh, I feel bad not feel bad for these people, but you thought it was like a lower.
Well, I just felt
quality
like
of life or something.
So much. We have so much.
Yeah.
Like we just have so much, and we have so much convenience, although we have zero time.
Yeah.
So, but they don't have the convenience. Somehow they do all the things that we do, and they have the time.
And there's a lot less to be worried about or to concern yourself with.
Anyway, I just went in with a totally different perspective
this time around.
Mm-hmm. And so I felt really good. It feels great.
Yeah, I loved it. The last time we were there was almost 9 years ago. It was, like I said, right after my father had died, and he was building a house, and he died before he had finished this house in the village where he grew up and where our family owns some acreage. Anyway, that's what I'm getting at is that house was unfinished, and we went with the intention to figure out how we can finish what will need to be done to finish that house. And when I went into that place, it was just open. There's scaffolding everywhere. It was so overwhelming. I thought, how is this going to be done? Because my dad never made blueprints for it. All his blueprints were in his head. And I remember when he was in, what do you call, I hate the word deathbed, but like when he was when he was sick and passing away, he had been mentioning to me he wanted me to draw out his blueprints. So he was going to have to tell me the idea in his head. It just never ended up happening.
Yeah, the cancer took him too quick. But
anyway,
but
the house
it was a great time.
is incredible. Like when we walked in, I'm so happy with the way the house turned out, and I'm really happy. It seemed like our kids were were really getting into it. Like they were wanting to learn how to speak some Samoan, so was teaching them little phrases here and there. And I say that that makes me happy because I grew up, even though I grew up in the States, I grew up with like the Samoan culture and lifestyle was a major part of my upbringing. Anyway, I don't know. It felt really good. All that time growing up, I don't speak fluent Samoan, but I was happy that I speak way more than I tend to think I can, because in America you don't ever speak the other languages. But yeah, it was a blast. It's a lot of fun. It's beautiful country and beautiful people. And our kids got to hang out with one of their cousins the first time they met. And she said something pretty sweet. She said something sweet when we were driving home at night. People walk out at night in Samoa. Everyone's out at night because in the daytime it's too hot. But what did you ask her? So our cousin in Samoan culture, anyone younger is your niece or nephew.
I was just surprised because it was, I think, a Saturday night or a Friday night, and everybody was out. They were just walking. We hadn't really been down into town on those nights. And so I was just like, do you and your sister go out walking around at night? And like just asking her about that. And she said, yeah, we just go wherever. She said, there are no bad people in Samoa.
Yeah.
Which is cute.
Yeah. There really aren't. Well, okay. Anyway, Samoa is a great place. I'm really glad we got to spend a significant amount of time there. And I just, I feel so much at home there, but I do miss a lot of the things that we have here.
Yeah, like a dryer.
Internet, not so much internet. You know what's really amazing? It was really like my first real vacation. I did not look on every once in a while I'd check my phone, but like I wasn't concerned with any work or anything. We just were able to just relax. It was great. Okay, so
wait.
Yeah.
This has got to be like our last episode for a while, right?
It's probably going to be the final or this end of season 5.
So that we can go out.
Yeah, we've got a shitload of shows. I will get to that.
Okay.
No, sorry, that sounded no. I'm going to get. I have that. No, I will get to that. I'm saying I have a quick little rundown of things. Let me do a quick. Do you have any song shares?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Shit. I'll do a few quick song shares because it looks like we have a few more minutes until Sage is going to be on with us. This song, I love this song so much, and I listen to it all the time, and I just really I don't know. The song is called Truth by Alexander.
Since days I've grown up some different kind of fire. And when the darkness comes, let it inside you. Your darkness is shining. My darkness is shining. In myself. True. I've seen a million number doors on the horizon. Now which is the future you're choosing before you gon' die? And I'll tell you about a secret I've been undermining.
It's so good. And the lyrics in that song, I have thought I was way off. I've been seeing them completely wrong. Not even just completely wrong. The whole other words. I for some reason thought he was saying Bob Marley in the lyrics. That was not even anywhere in there. But I just saw Guy Ritchie's movie The Covenant. It's a war movie about Iraq translators during the Afghanistan war. It's a pretty good movie. It's weird when Guy Ritchie directs Americans. I don't know, for some reason the pacing seems off to me when he has non-British speaking cast. But it's a good movie. Anyway,
What's
the
the
song
song
Alexander, the song Truth by Alexander is in the movie, and it reminded me of how much I just love that song. And then Chesky and Factor's new album coming out. That song Sky High, it's Chesky and Factor. The song Sky High is on that album, and the album is called Moving Like a Planet, and the song is called Sky High. It's really good.
November just died, December just died. That's what I find is that my mind will never be a typical ride, and that's fine. I have seen the edge of light so many times, can't believe in my life. Maybe it'll come like a thief in the night, from a pinprick or the double edge of a knife. Never burn me to ashes, I am food for the planet. Tell my mother I loved her, tell my brother keep at it. Fuck the whole gangster lean and lean, that shriveled up our rap heroes into some royal mummies. Please, I am impatient, I couldn't wait this. I'll put a piece in my mouth in a minute, lights out, black ice so.
And then one other song, actually two other songs.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no. Cass One and Alexander Brown's song that just came out, Silver Spoons.
Play a card in the spokes, swerving through street lights. Puff urban burn nights on urban sites. Moving serpent like through certain strife. Used to coke banging skateboards and coping pipe. Before the open mic, I wrote life on road dice. Yikes, pencil hanging from my ear on the right. It all meant something if it meant nothing. Bumping, jumping out my stuffing under moonbeams. 40-ounce dreams felt the gutter on my sleeves. Cause my mother worked threes, but my brothers weren't street, so neither was me. Lesson out of life, that lesson ain't free. 3 stacks raised me like a black power fist.
I think it's some of Cass's finest work. Clearly, his therapy is working for him. I like when people rap introspectively, and that song, is that a right word? Introspectively?
Yeah.
Why did you get?
Because my song choice is completely opposite of that.
Oh, and then one other one, since he's going to be on Inherited Scars, that came on yesterday when I was scrolling through YouTube, and I remember how great that song is, and that's Sage Francis' song, Inherited Scars.
Alright, show that shit. With a little bit more respect and reservation. It was my sister, for Christ's sakes. I'm waiting for a follow-up line. There usually always is the statements like, I want to show you something. Kind of runs in the same vein as statements like, you can't tell anyone. And then promises are made and secrets are kept. I ain't tell anyone about what I seen or heard that day. Mum's the word still. I'm scared to plant ideas in your head while your rebellious side is fertile. Hurdles are getting knocked down. I'm running a losing race. Your legs aren't the only ones marked up. How many dreams have you chased? I could have said this to your face. Maybe you wouldn't have to write like God.
Great song. Okay, go ahead, Adrienne.
Mine is just Games, Gaims, by Camu. I think it's Camu.
Yeah.
Kamau. Camu.
Killers at Missouri University.
But it's a fun little song.
Yeah, you should be hearing a preview of the song right now, but the stupid YouTube copyright blocked it, so there's nothing for you to hear here.
Girls
Okay.
just want to play games.
Oh, they
It's
do.
cute, yeah. It's just a fun song.
Women don't play games anymore, though, huh? Just girls?
Couldn't tell you. I'm not friends with enough of them.
Well, since this is probably going to be the last episode for a month or two, or I don't know when the new season will come, let me give you 3 quote shares that I wrote down. Here's a quote. I would rather make stuffing. That was Cass One from our episode. I don't know what he was bitching about stuffing. He's like, I'd rather make stuffing. I don't know. I think that's funny. And then this one's been turning around in my head for a long time, but not my story to tell. it's kind of more of a it's less of a quote and more of like a
Phrase.
a state of being, and that was by Barf Loco when we were having a discussion with him, and he was saying about some of his homies or some of the old times. He said, that's not my story to tell, and it seems like honorable or like noble to me, because I have a tendency to get excited to tell a story. And so I'll say like, oh, this happened to this person, this happened to this person. Well, because I like to share things, but I think there's something honorable about just going, you know what, it's not my story to tell. I don't know.
I think I do that a lot. I withhold information because it's just not my story to tell.
Yeah, I don't know what that is about me that wants to just like tell, I want to share things with people. And then the last one, throwing love at that human casket. I thought that was awesome. And that was Kathleen from Bikini Kill. When we were at the Bikini Kill show, she was talking about one of her exes. And she said, I was just throwing love at that human casket. I don't know. I thought it was awesome.
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was a cool quote. Okay. A couple of things coming up with Art by Ty. The Under an Hour book, volume 1. I'll be shipping those out in June, and I'll probably have a few more left over to sell on the website, so keep your eye out for that. Check out the skateboard. Omen Longboards. They exclusively sell my work on their skateboards, and they do longboards, street skate. They have all kinds of boards, and they're all great. You got to kind of look at your local shops for those. Sometimes you can get them from the Omen Longboards website.
Yeah, you have no access to them.
I can't sell. Yeah, you won't get them from me. You got to get them from
We
Omen.
were trying to get some to sell at the gallery this year, but
those haven't been released yet.
It's hard to get them.
It is because, what I found out is because they sell out like that. The longboards the quality of boards are unmatched. And then back on the artbyty.com website is the Inktiber books are back on there, and the book from 2022, Book of Arms. Both those books are back on the website. Some things coming up this weekend. We'll be in East Lansing, Michigan for the East Lansing Art Festival. The following week we'll be in Boulder Creek, Colorado for the Boulder Creek Festival.
Doesn't Kaylin live there?
Kaylin does live near Boulder Creek, yes. We're going to see her at the Strange Fame Fest. Mm-hmm. She's going to be one of the performers there. And then the weekend after that, we'll be in Edina, Minnesota. Edina and Minneapolis are right next to each other. And then after that, we'll be at Chicago for Wells Street, back to weekends. Mm-hmm. And then the weekend after Wells Street is Strange Famous Records Festival in Denver, Colorado, and we will be there. In what capacity? We'll 100% be there as you and I, as
individual.
Yeah, as viewers or watchers or listeners. What do you call it? What do you call someone that goes to concert goers, show goers? I don't know. Also, I made some new canvas pieces that I'll be showing at shows. So come see me at a show. You can see these new pieces that I've been making. So they're a little more affordable for those of you who can't afford my original pieces. And then, so our guest, is he here? Okay, cool. Let me run through a couple of things about Sage Francis. This will be his third time as a guest on the show, but he, as you know, those who've been watching our show regularly, we have a segment on the show called Sage Francis's Social Media Lurk. So he pops in and does that. So I just wanted to go through a few of these Sage Francis things. He just performed at the Rhymefest show that he's going to come on. We're going to talk about that. I'm really intrigued about how that went. I saw some social media posts where some people were saying it went great, and other people were apparently the VIP section was a joke. And then he's also going to come in and talk about the Strange Fame Fest, June 17th. I'm really looking forward to that.
Maybe there are no such things as VIPs.
That's true. Maybe there aren't. And I've been telling people we go to concerts more now than I did when I was younger, but I only want to mostly sit in the VIP section because I'm old and I want to be away from the madness. So the last album, proper album from Sage was 2014. That's his Copper Gone album. It's
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
so good.
It is.
Yeah, it's just a fantastic album. Everyone that's probably watching our show knows who Sage Francis is, but if someone doesn't, I'm going to run through a couple of songs that stick out to me always. His album Life from 2010. Two of my favorite songs on that, Little Houdini.
Cause Christopher wasn't just running from cops. Christopher Gay was now racing the clock. His mother was dying and there was no time to be held inside of a cage with locks. So y'all can turn up your nose and suck on your teeth and wag your finger like tisk tisk. But he had to take the risk. Little Houdini. There wasn't a single thing sinister in his decision to break from the prison. His only motive was to go back to his childhood home while his mom was still living. It wasn't a house, more like an old mobile camper where she was bedridden, diagnosed with colon cancer. Sometimes the only answer we're left with when a loved one's name is on the death list is to head for the exits and go home. Christopher got the hell out of Texas.
I love that song. And Best of Times.
It's the best of times. It's the end of times. It's the best of times. It's the end of times. Best of times. The end of times. I was always on deck. I was next in line. An only child with a pen and pad, writing a list of things I could never have. Walls in my house were paper thin. Every squabble seemed to get deafening. My memory served me correctly and made it a point to avoid and forget some things. Proudly to keep from being embarrassed. Never meant to upset or give grief to my parents. Kept my secrets, hidden my talents in my head. Never run to the mattress. Therapy couldn't break me. Never learned a word that would ensure safety.
That song, every time I hear it, right towards the end when he's telling him his younger self, maybe he's talking to his kids, or he's talking to.
No, I think he's talking to his kid.
Yeah, I think he's saying if he had the kids. Yeah. Anyway, I get choked up, or like I get real good in the feels. I don't know. I like it. It's so well done. And then his 2005 album, A Healthy Distrust. Two songs out of that album that I really dig. Sun versus Moon.
The devil only exists because of your belief in him. Same goes for that other guy. I believe the sun is simply reflecting the shine from the moon. Stealing its spotlight, they'll have a cockfight at noon. To settle their differences. At midnight, rematch. To surf their similarities on turntables. The chicken scratch will prove to be unbeatable. The determining factor in who gets to pitch control the tides. No one decides the victim unless they give a fair listen to both the sides. We go blind, jerking off to the eclipse. The sun was pulling cheap shots, doing commercial body tricks. Behind the back, under the leg. I think he even did a head spin on the crossfader. It sounded whack. All of a sudden it gets dim.
Love that track. And then Crumble. That Crumble, well, you can just hear it and know.
They've said it every year, but this time it seems like the end is near, and I'm in line to see the light. How far does this black tunnel go? I got a car, but the gas is running low. And as long as I've known the bumps and creaks of this house, it's starting to make the types of sounds that only come from people's mouths. You can't tell me it's still settling. Built on an Indian burial ground, killing everything. The childhood scar on my chin is back again. That old jump over my own leg dance move has to end. I've seen better days in my night terrors. I was a bike messenger without a bike, and I would write letters.
When I point out these songs, these are ones that I can just off the top of my head say I love every song on the albums. And then the track Makeshift Patriot, I did a whole drawing
That's right.
based off of that Makeshift Patriot song.
When times like these arise, I freestyle biased opinions every other sentence. Journalist ethics slip when I pass them off as objective. Don't give me that ethical ish. I've got exclusive explicit images to present to impressionable American kids, and it's time to show this world how big our edifice is. That's exactly what they attack when a typically dark-skinned Disney villain used civilians against civilians and charged the Trojan horses into our building, using commercial aviation as instruments of destruction. Pregnant women couldn't protect their children. Wheelchairs were stairway obstruction. Now I have to backpedal from the shower of glass and metal, wondering how after it settles we'll find who provided power to radical.
That's from his 2002 Sick of Waging War. That song, that I did that before we had any connection. Years ago. And I also had a real different reaction to the 9/11 than a lot of people were. Well, shit, I won't go into that.
You were
Sorry.
celebrating?
No. I remember I had the guest.
There's only one reaction people can have.
No, remember everyone got all anti-Muslim crazy like that. It got super like.
Not everybody.
Not everybody, but it was a big. It became. I'm talking about online because I had a guest board on our website long before. What were they called? No, they were like guest boards or something like you would. Anyway, I think I saw that I wrote like a something that's still out there on the internet about how people should not jump to craziness. All right. And then from his 2007 Human Death Dance album, I love Waterline.
Blessed are those who are damned. When the levee broke, how many choked on the steps of a slow dance? A staircase to a hug with no hands. Accountability hung out to dry on the line of command. We let the thoughts flood. We remind ourselves it's all right, it's all good, it's all love. It's not though, cause there's a kink in the armor. A pothole I'm sinking in, sharing a drink with my father. It's a family affair, the vanity we share. The waterline is rising and all we do is stand there. The waterline is rising and all we do is stand there. The water's rising.
Civil obedience.
Pedal to the metal, gonna get ahead. Gonna run another red light in the dead of the night. Letting the light from my cell phone distract my eyes. Sexual text messaging in my mind. Fingers are busy, but now I'm looking in the mirror. Cause the people behind me, they're giving me the middle finger. I kill them if they pull them, Betty closing in my bumper. Short-tempered mother, shut your mouth. Drinking the coffee, now I'm dumping it out. He's honking his horn like he wanna throw down. He thinks I'm mortal, you wanna go now. I'm ready for the typically cyclical civil obedience. Typically cyclical civil obedience. Typically cyclical civil obedience. I'm a trusted man.
That's I don't know. That song's just cool.
Obviously, I was kidding about you saying you were celebrating 9/11.
Oh, did you feel like you had to step in?
You never know. Okay. Well, we should take a quick break.
Hey, before we do, remember Sage has a song coming out with Chuck D, produced by Buck 65. Remember? Mm-hmm. So, oh yeah, I hope that comes out soon. Okay, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with Sage Francis.
DOD45. Hot sauce. We're real thrilled to have partnered with Hot Sauce for 3 simple reasons. Their hot sauce is delicious, the owner and creator David is a solid dude, and they collaborate with dope artists for their labels, including myself. Boom. Amplify your favorite foods with their award-winning flavors. Head over to hobsauces.com to get yourself some absolutely delicious artisan hot sauce. Hit it, Bobby.
Have sauce. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Put it on your food. Hot sauce.
This is flyover country. No one's expecting much from us. In fact, no one's expecting anything at all. The coast probably think we're in Walmart right now. Great deal on fire, by the way. Instead, here we are making plans. Big plans. Because in a city where people do so much with so little, what could happen if we gave them more? More beauty, connections, perspectives. This is your chance to be a part of something bigger than yourself. Something that's made of brick, concrete, and steel. But also for blood, sweat, and soul. Something that can only be possible in St. Louis. Because when no one's expecting much from you, you can do anything. Our city deserves something epic. Long live laborious.
Check out our new partners, Brim of the World, a.k.a. Seek, Conquer, and Destroy, a.k.a. Aliens Built Earth. Show them some love and treat yourself right to a new wardrobe or some new headgear. And I'm not talking about braces headgear, I'm talking about hats. Check out all their gear and links at brimoftheworld.com. Hey, real quick, my friends, my art is available for purchase at artbyty.com. So if you like what you're seeing or you want to support the DOD45 show, the best way for you to do that is to pick up a print or an original at my website. If you're not quite ready to buy, but you still want to help out, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you stream from. And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel at artbyty and engage in the comments. That goes a long way. All right, enough already. Let's get back to the show. DOD45.
He went town.
Hey.
Hey, what's happening?
Hi.
Hi, you guys. Hey, happy Mother's Day.
Hey, thank you.
Was it a good one?
It really was, yes.
Good.
So things are good. Great seeing your face as always.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, things are fine, man. This discussion could last 10 hours, but the good news is I've probably forgotten most of what I wanted to address anyway. So I know I will be omitting things that I'll remember in 2 to 3 days. I'm like, oh, that was crucial to a certain plot point. But I'm so excited I have the opportunity to talk about the shows that I just did, because it's my re-entrance into the live performance world that I took off for over 3 years, which is a big deal, because not since I was like 12 years old did I go that amount of time. There was not like any long stretch of time where I didn't perform in front of people. And I'd say it's tough to say. Ever since a kid, I've been performing live, and to lose that momentum and to lose that muscle memory, that compounded my anxieties about going back on the road, because I was like, what's not going to be there that I took for granted over the years when I was performing nonstop. So we're recording, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, wait, before we do that, let me do real quick.
Okay, yeah, do your thing.
Because we already set it up in the intro that you were going to come on. We were going to discuss about the Rhymefest and maybe recap, or do a recap of how that went, and then Strange Fame Fest. But so because it is drawing over discussions, here's how I figured I should do some drawing while you're doing the talking. So I was going to do it like Mad Libs style. So I was going to say, can you give me a noun?
Tape.
Tape?
Like Scotch tape.
Okay. And then can you give me an adjective?
Slimy.
Okay, nice. And then how about a verb?
Sorry. I'm coming up with a lack of verbs. Ran.
Okay, I'm gonna use those to do a little drawing while you're chatting.
So this is a freestyle version of drawing.
Freestyle, yeah. Though I might go with cassette tape rather than Scotch tape.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
All right, so yeah, let's let's get into to Rhymefest. What do you think? Is that where you want to start off?
Well, can I ask real quick? How was it when you got back out? Was there anything missing that you?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There was, but before I talk about any of this, I'm glad you asked that question, because I want to say the shows went really well. They were incredible, actually. The crowds were incredible. So I'm going to say a lot of things that might sound kind of like I'm throwing shade on an event. And I don't want them getting upset, because I actually have homies who were involved with putting together Rhymefest. It's one of the reasons I was even considered to be on it. But it was kind of mind-blowing how everything went as well as it did when all I could see was potential disaster in a lack of organization and understanding between venue, promoter, fans, and artist. I had already performed at a Rhymefest event. I think the first time was in 2014. And I had a good experience at it. And they hit me up in January asking if I wanted to play Rhymefest in April, on April 15th. And at that point, I had not accepted any shows in over 3 years, and I was like, you know what, maybe the best way for me to get back out there is for not to headline a show but be part of a bigger event where all the heavy lifting is being done by a lot of the other parties. I'm just kind of a puzzle piece in the whole thing. And the offer was actually the same exact offer I got in 2014. So I was like, you know what, like, I'm familiar with this, it's okay. Oh, and they also, I'm pretty sure they told me it was a free event. So I was like, yeah, for that amount of money, that makes sense. It's not what I would normally accept for a festival, but all things considered, I was like, this is I like that crowd out there. I know it's gonna like be full of love and an accepting crowd. This is probably the best way for me to get back onto the stage and just get the wheel spinning again. So I accepted, and I asked who else is on the bill, and they were like, well, we haven't asked anyone else yet. So, and then they were like, and we want to announce you right away. So I'm thinking like, this is a way where they're gonna get other artists interested, or say like, oh yeah, if he's playing it, yeah, that sounds like it could be cool. Not to say like I'm drawing in other artists, but it's like an established name is on it, and then they can reach out to others.
Yeah. And
I had no idea who was going to be on it, and all the previous Rhymefest events were not nearly as big as this one. So I didn't put that into consideration, and I also didn't realize that Adelanto, California is not even close to LA. Right. It's 2 hours at least away from Los Angeles.
Yeah, when they first posted that, I did see a lot of comments from people saying, oh, that's... I saw a lot of negative. You know how people get online when they say negative, they can only think negatively. But I did see a lot of people make comments about where the show was. So I thought,
I thought people were busting my balls when they were like, when they said this isn't even LA. I'm thinking, all right, like what is it like? Long Beach or something, where? Because I'm not from California. I don't really know all the different parts. It's a fucking big country. I mean, it is. I mean, it's the size of a country. You know, like a lot of countries aren't even as big as California.
Right.
So, I'm like, all right, well, whatever. It's called Rhymefest LA. I've already played it before. Like, I know what it is, but no, that's not what this was. It was a whole other thing. That we'll get to that down the line. Right. But so I started kind of freaking out, because I'm like, do I even remember the songs? What instrumentals do I have available to me? And I also, since I'm going to play in California, I might as well make the most of my travels and book another show. So I booked the one in Berkeley, California at Gilman Street, which is one of the last shows I ever played. So again, it's familiar to me. It's not something I have to worry too much about. Whatever X factors that can pop up.
Yeah, and being that it was going to be after such a long period of time, you wanted to lessen the amount of shock that was going to happen.
Absolutely. I'm trying to mitigate any surprises.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, so I looked, the last time they had asked me to play Rhymefest, I declined, and Brother Ali headlined it. So I hit up Brother Ali, and because I couldn't remember, I was like, yo, what was it like? I was like, what did you do to get ready for this? Because that was, I think, the first show he played after taking a long break.
Okay.
And he told me, he's like, yo, I got into an exercise regimen, started working out every day, rehearsing, with my DJ and this and that. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to do any of that. So I started getting worried, because I'm like, I'm not in shape. I'm not in performance shape.
Right.
I don't remember my fucking lyrics. And so I started freaking out about that. And I kind of procrastinated till we got closer to the show, with all the unknowns of what was going on. Because, and then Rhymefest, after they announced my name, every other day they would announce new names, and then my name got smaller and smaller on the flyer, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not even close to headlining this. Okay.
Did we have a conversation about that before? I talked to somebody about that, and I kept watching every day a new post come up. I can't remember if it was you or someone was telling me, like, when those happen, the size of your name on the flyer starts to get smaller.
Yeah, no, I mentioned it in one of my posts, and the organizer hit me up. He was like, hey, sorry about that. I was like, nah, it's cool. Like, that kind of lessens my anxiety. I feel less responsible to really hold everything up. I'm still in the mix. I get to hide in the bushes a little bit. That's good.
Yeah.
But there were names, like the Necro name was all big, and you kind of looked like a headliner. I was like, and that didn't even make sense. It just didn't fit the vibe of everything else that was going on. Mm-hmm. And then inexplicably, his name was removed a couple weeks later. And also around this time, we're getting a sense that, okay, this Rhymefest is actually taking part in the some weed festival. So where they're doing this in that part of California, is the reason they picked that part is because the laws are more lax and they could like get more or do more stuff revolving around weed or big gatherings.
Yeah.
So Rhymefest was actually a smaller part of a bigger thing, and Kush Fest or whatever it's called, I forget, Kush Stock, I don't know. All I know is that it got very confusing as to what was what and who was in charge of what and who was going to be part of this festival, where the performance part of the festival was going to happen. Most people, including artists, had no idea when they were going to actually perform. People didn't know what like set times were. Everything was just left up in the air up until like maybe a day before the event or 2 days. But so before I get into the travel stuff, I'll say I was on anxiety medication, and it was leaving my mouth very dry. So even when I was doing Zoom interviews like this or podcasts, I noticed my tongue would totally dry up, and it would sound like I had a more of a lisp than I actually do, and it was tough to talk because your tongue is just kind of getting stuck in your mouth. Yeah. I told my doctor, I was like, because it was a new medication for me. They just like, I told them I was having bouts of anxiety, and they like put me on this new thing, and I was like, I'm not really feeling it much. And then they increased the dosage. I was like, yo, it's making my mouth dry. I was like, is there anything we can do about it? And they're like, nah, that really happens with most of the medications. There's not much you can do. You can get a lozenge or whatever. But I started like getting scared because I remember there are times I've performed in the past where I had cotton mouth, and it's like, it's impossible to battle when you're performing live on stage. It doesn't matter how much water you drink. It doesn't like replenish the saliva in your mouth that's necessary for a lot of tongue movement and the sounds you need to make. But so I was waiting for the bigger dose to come in, and I'm hoping to acclimate to it before my travels, because it also made me feel really weird and unnormal and out of my head. And then I just decided to stop altogether. I was like, I'm just stopping cold turkey. I know it's a bad idea, but it's like 4 days before the show, and I feel like that's a good amount of time for me to actually feel like my normal self and not have to deal with one extra thing on top of all the other things.
Well, that's probably given your anxiety, like extra anxiety. It
wasn't helping my anxiety anyway. So
were you ever that like an anxiety miner? Did you, or have you? I guess that's the term, right? I've been hearing that a lot lately.
I've never heard it.
Like mining from your anxiety, like that's how you used your anxiety to do what you do.
No, anxiety like is the worst for me. It kind of like incapacitates me in several ways. I can't be creative with it. I can't be a helpful husband or father. I'm just very jumpy and like a sense of impending doom, and it's like I need everything to fucking slow down and calm down. Like I'm way more comfortable with anxiety. I mean, with depression. Like my depression years, it was like my second nature. I totally understand how to navigate depression. Anxiety is a new thing that came about later in life that I can't really navigate easily at all. So that was just part of the problem. But before, so I started freaking out about my set, what I needed to do for the California shows. And so I would take my drives from Connecticut to Rhode Island to visit the Strange Famous office. I would burn myself a CD full of instrumentals, and I'm practicing my own songs, and I have to go on genius.com to look at my own lyrics.
Oh, wow.
How correct were they?
I mean, correct enough for me to know what I'm supposed to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, those need a lot of fixing up. So while I'm doing that, and I'm doing these songs that when I performed a lot, I was able to separate myself from the subject matter of the song and from the memories of the song. Sure. And it becomes more of a technical exercise rather than a visceral exercise. And here I am in my fucking car bawling my eyes out.
Oh, no.
Because I'm like reliving the moments that inspired a lot of the material and subject matter and lines and actual lyrics. And I'm just like, it just is hitting too hard for me. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot that this was what it's like when I first wrote it, when I first experienced it. And I am
Are you enjoying this? Are you enjoying this feeling, or is it
no, I'm
causing
not.
more anxiety?
I mean, it's good to have a good cry every now and then, but I'm like, it's hurting. Like it's not good.
Yeah.
And I'm remembering, well, like, wow, I've repressed a lot of shit.
Yeah.
That I took control over with the lyrics and with the songs, and by performing it and feeling like I own it and I master it and I'm in control, and I'm really not. It's just with repetition, it becomes more manageable.
Yeah.
So with that lack of repetition over the last 3 years, I had to kind of whittle away at that, like with my car rides, and try to just not let that distract me on top of everything else. Like it's not just feeling it, but being distracted by it while you're performing. It's tough to do what I have to do on stage. So that was making me anxious. That was making me very fucking nervous. I couldn't really truly remember all the lines I needed to say. And then the ones that I was remembering, I was like, oh my God, that hurts.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta get by this. I gotta deal with that. And then I went home about maybe 2 days before my travels. I was sitting on the couch with my wife and my son, and the girls were in bed already. And she knows I'm going through it. She can tell, because this is going to be the first time I'm away from my family in so long. And I've been with my son day and night ever since he was born. He's 2.5 now. And this is going to be the first time I'm away. And I'm thinking, like, I'm trying to like figure out how he's going to feel about it. Because like, we're best friends, man. Like, I love my son.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling it now too. But anyway, my wife's like, "Are you excited for your shows?" I was like, I just started fucking crying.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, I don't want to leave.
Well, your role has completely changed in the last 3 years during the pandemic too, as a human.
Yeah, everything's different.
Yeah.
And the two things that are not just, there's only two, but the two major things that you love in your life are now almost, this is just maybe how I'm thinking of them, but could be battling each other. I mean, your music is your
because my life was my life. That was like my whole life was music. It was everything, and now it's totally taken a back seat. And in order for us to continue on and move on and support ourselves, I actually have to delve back into that world. But it just hurt so hard. Like I was not ready to leave. I did not want to leave. I felt very sad about it. I love my kid, love my wife, love my girls. So I just was kind of purging that, getting that out of me. And I know travel's become more difficult since COVID, and I wanted to make sure I took the measures to account for any extra difficulties that I may not have been familiar with. So I was like, okay, I'm going to arrive to the airport 3 hours ahead of my domestic flight.
Sure.
All right. So I'm not like, even if I hit some weird traffic jam, and I got to be there at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, geez.
So I'm thinking, I leave my house at 2 a.m. in order to be at the airport 3 hours ahead of my flight. So I'm not going to sleep. I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to get there. I'll sleep at the airport. I'll have time to like sleep a little bit before the flight and on the flight, replenish myself, get to California one day before my show with a lot of time to spare.
Mm-hmm.
Land in LAX and then drive to Adelanto. This is when things got super crazy. And in a weird way, I'm kind of thankful because I was so distracted for the next 2 to 3 days by all the bullshit I had to go through. I couldn't really focus on what I was crying about earlier.
Right.
So I drive an hour to the airport. I check in, I'm there, everything's good. Check my luggage in, got my merch and my luggage that's checked in. I go to the gate. I'm waiting around. Maybe doze off for 15 minutes, but I'm scared I'm going to miss the announcement for my flight.
Right.
Oh, I get an alert. The flight is delayed by an hour. I'm thinking, okay, well, my layover in Chicago, I have 3 hours to spare, so that's fine. I can't fall asleep because I'm waiting for like more information of what's going on. More alerts coming in. Delayed another hour. People start joining the line to talk to the flight people to see what's going on. I do the same thing. I'm going to cut out a lot of bullshit here. It was a long wait. And then eventually it turned into a 14-hour delay.
Oh my God.
Through Delta Airlines. And I'm standing in a line where I'm trying to like book through someone else. I'm trying to find out how else I can get to California, because obviously I'm going to miss my connecting flight, and I'm not going to get to California a day before the show. I'm kind of freaking out, and I make an administrative decision. I'm just like, I'm going to abandon this flight. I have to figure something else out. I drive an hour back home to Connecticut because that flight was in Providence. I call the promoter or the organizer of Rhymefest. I'm like, yo, I've run into like a really big problem. There's no flights. No one can get me into California from the airport that I was just at. And I just want to give you the heads up in case I can't like make it. Like, I want you to figure out, I don't want to leave you high and dry. Right. Maybe you can replace me with someone else, whatever. He never gets back to me. In fact, I've never, like, it was all DMs of how we were communicating, and no one's ever like emailed me actual information of what's what. And I felt so lost in it all.
Yeah.
So I'm driving home, totally exhausted. I had not slept yet. This is the next day. I tell my wife what's going on. They can't believe I'm back home because we already had the really big goodbye with the whole family thing. And I'm like, my eyes are red, like totally red. I'm stressed the fuck out. I'm without sleep and I'm nervous as hell. I'm not going to make this show. She searches flights and realizes that there's one flying out of Connecticut, which is another hour away, the other direction, that will get me into another airport in California, which thankfully was actually closer to the, I didn't realize that, what was it? Ontario, California was closer to the Rhymefest location and by an hour. So that was cool. But, there was one ticket left and it was going to leave in a little over like in 2 hours, and we're an hour away. So we hurry up and book this flight. And I'm still actually figuring out my set list. So I'm like, I got my studio computer and I uploaded things to Dropbox, and I just jet out. I bounce to the Connecticut airport, park my car, go through the whole check-in process again. You know, thankfully I was able to get that flight, but this was minutes. Like my decision making was like, it would be so easy just not do this.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to do the show. I don't want to travel. It would be so easy for me to say, this is too difficult and I'm going to lose money in the process. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I had to cancel. I lost money on that flight. I lost money on the rental car because I wasn't flying into the same airport again. And that was $600 just for the rental, which was crazy. Like, fuck, the rental company is called Sixt, SIXT. They're bullshit because they would not give me my money back for a car I never picked up. Delta Airlines could also fuck off. No, not Delta, United, who are notorious for this bullshit. But yeah, so get there, I do my connecting flight. I finally get into California, but I'm trying to book a new rental car in all of the like mini pockets of time where I get access to Wi-Fi. And I did finally book one through this new airport, but I'm arriving at like midnight. So,
no one's opening a rental car.
Yeah, no, it was like I take the shuttle and I'm without my checked-in luggage, so all the merchandise that I was bringing with me was stuck with United, so I don't have that with me. Oh, and the reason I decided to do the show, because I was thinking, I just saw into the future, and I saw this as an excuse why I never do this shit again. And I saw people being disappointed, like, oh man, like, we already experienced this in 2020 when I had to like cancel all the COVID shows. Like, I already been through this. I had already lost money doing this. I said, I'm gonna fucking do it. And I don't know how, but on this like lack of sleep, 2 days, no sleep, get this fucking done. You're a boss. You can do anything. You've done this like in different lives many times. Get it done. That was my driving force. Speaking of black lick, like, fuck it. Like the black lick, fuck it mantra. I was like, you know what? As impossible as it seems, fuck it. Do it.
Yeah.
So I go there. That's what drove me. So I did it. And I, stealing food along the way, just trying to get food in my belly because these places don't serve food to people anymore.
No.
What about those pretzels?
Surprisingly, they did serve like soda, but yeah, so I take the shuttle to the rental car place, and the rental car spot was about to close, half hour. I get to the place where I reserved my rental car, and my name's not coming up. And they're like, did you book it today? I said, yeah. And they're like, oh, we don't accept same day rentals.
Oh no.
I was like, I did it through Expedia. It was like, yeah, we keep telling Expedia that we don't accept that. And I'm like, do you have a car? And they're like, no.
Oh,
so I kind of raised my voice a little bit because it's all dark outside. People are super tired. I'm obviously out of my mind. I'm hallucinating, like literally.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm seeing things move on the corners of my eyes and shit because of the total lack of sleep, the exhaustion. And thankfully, the car company, the next people over, they were like, yeah, we can do that. And it ended up being like rather fucking cheap for a last minute rental to drive, because I wasn't returning it to the same airport either.
That gets more expensive too.
7 hours to San Francisco, and thankfully it was pretty cheap. I mean, it cost money, but yeah. Right. Finally get that, rent my car, drive an hour. I'm scared. Like, I don't know about this area of California, like hotel wise, or what there is to eat around there. But it turns out this is a very desolate part of California. There is fuck all to do and fuck all to eat. And I can't believe people live there. And there's like, it's desert. It's the high desert. It's a lot of flatlands and there's nothing around. It's dirt. And there's like, gas stations. So like
$7 a gallon.
Yeah. Well, I check into my hotel.
That's what you're eating too from gas stations.
That's what I'm getting my food. I had to go to the gas station and get a sandwich or whatever I got. It was like, I'm not going to advertise my diet at this point, but it wasn't great. But I got food that was hot. So I drive to the hotel, which is a motel, which is a really rundown motel in the middle of a rundown nowhere spot. But I made it. God damn it. Like 1 a.m. the day before the show, I pull up into the hotel. It's a little spot. I just drive around the corner and I see two people outside, a couple, a guy and a girl, and they look and they totally recognize me.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, motherfucker. It's like, I can't talk to you right now.
And I can't be nice.
I can't. I park my car. I try to find a dark spot to park my car, pull out my sandwich, I eat, and I notice them snoop around the corner to walk by just to see if it really is me. And I'm just staring at them out of the windshield, and I give a little, like a weird, creepy smile and like a creepy clown smile and a wave. Like, you gotta leave me alone. I can't do this. I'm ready to either murder someone or just die. Oh my God, it sucked so bad, that whole thing. And I'm skipping a lot of stuff, but that whole experience was top 3 worst travel experiences of my life. And I've had really, really awful travel experiences, probably top 2. But for all that I had to go through, I still got there a day before the show, and I still got sleep. But when I got into my hotel room, I had to work out my set list. I'm talking to DJ Zoll, who said he would like DJ for me the next day. We obviously didn't have time to rehearse or anything.
Right.
I'm sending him files through this really slow Wi-Fi at this motel I'm at. He's organizing stuff. He has to get up extra early for a DJ event before he even goes to Rhymefest. I'm totally confused as to where I am. I can't believe that this big festival is happening in the middle of nowhere in this podunk spot of like dirt desert California.
Called LA Rhymefest, isn't it, or something too?
Yeah, no, it's called Rhymefest LA because it did originate in LA, but then they moved to this spot where it was bigger and they could do more stuff with the weed festival. Which is still so confusing to me. I still don't know what's going on. I still don't know what load-in's all about. But at least I'm next to the grounds for the festival. And the next morning, fuck it, I'm rested. I got my sleep. I probably, I slept like a brick after all that. And I get there extra early the next day, and there's already a line of cars. And this spot is at like a racetrack or something. I think it's a speedway. So, they turned it into a music venue. And I pulled up without any credentials. No one told me where to go. I'm like, I could just get in this line of cars. The people come out like, who are you here for? What are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm one of the performers. Like, where's your credentials? I said, no one told me anything about credentials. I don't know. They're like, all right. And then someone recognized me like, oh, Sage, hey, what's up, man? Yeah. Oh, you know what? Just park up over there. Like, that's where the weed people are doing their thing. But you can park over there and then walk down this way. You can just sneak in if you go around that corner.
Oh, Jesus. You're sneaking into your own show.
Yes. And so I do that, and there's no sound check. When I get there, I get behind the stage, and Far Side is doing their sound check, so I go up on stage just to see what's what and introduce myself to the sound engineers and do all that. It's always a good idea just to connect with people and know who's responsible for what, especially when you have no idea what's going on. And they're like, all right, well, I'm looking around, I'm like, okay, well, this is happening, sound's on, that's cool. And I go to where the vendors are set up, because I'm getting my shirts from AWOL1 from Shapeshifters and the cloaks. AWOL1, who I haven't mentioned yet, he was my lifeline before I got to this event, because I kept texting him when the organizer wasn't responding to me, and I'm asking him questions. I'm like, yo, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And he kept giving me pointers about where to go and how to get certain things done. And he's the one who's going to be bringing my t-shirts that he printed. So at least I would have some merchandise to sell. So I'm there and I'm giving him pointers now. I'm texting him. I'm like, yo, there's a long line of cars outside and I don't know what the proper way is to get in. Oh, the way I came in was one entrance, but the main entrance where all artists were going in through, they had to pay for parking. So artists were paying for parking.
Oh, God.
Artists were paying for food. Artists were paying for water.
Oh, man.
I was like, how can you have such a big festival that goes all day long in the high desert and you don't have water bottles? Like, they had some during the early part of the day and then they're gone.
Yep.
Like they weren't replenished. I'm like, and I was scared. I was like, by the time I get on stage, I need at least 2 bottles of water. I need them. They have to be there. Like it's my only requirement. It's the only thing I ever have on my rider. Yeah. Bottles of water. I absolutely need them. No water. So I hoarded some. I noticed like people who were building the stage still had a little stash of bottles of water. And I knew like early on, like 9 a.m., I took 2 and I put them in my backpack because by the time my set came around, there was no waters left. I think part of the problem was it was so far away from civilization. Everything. Like it wasn't easy to get all this, all the provisions that were necessary for the event. And maybe they underestimated how much they actually needed. Yeah. But
didn't your merch not show up on flight, or didn't your bag get lost?
No, I abandoned that flight.
Oh, that's right.
I could not get that bag. That was a loss of money, obviously, but
Yeah.
we'll make up for it some other way. But at this event, so I go to the merch or where the vendors are setting up, and I see Eli. So I'm like, oh yeah, like finally a dude I know. I walk up to Eli. He's setting up a really nice merch setup. He's got a tent. It's got like livinglegends.com written on this like big tarp.
Yeah, they're in hometown.
Yeah. Except it's not, because it was so far away. And so I asked Eli, I was like, what's going on? I was like, how did you know where to set up? He's like, I didn't know. I'm just setting up.
Oh, shit.
I was like, I was told that we would have to buy our vending spots.
Oh.
Vendor, like you had to like rent a vending space. He's like, I don't know. I'm just setting up. I'm like, all right, that's what's up. I mean, I was under the impression that's what I had to do, and I didn't feel like trying to figure that out amongst everything else. But thankfully, AWOL1 and Tumex, like shout out Tumex. He was one of the people who helped book the event. So I'm the reason I was on. Like he's the reason I was included on this. I think that's what he told me. So that's why I don't want to fully shit on the organizers, because I know Tumex was part of actually the inception of it, maybe, but the follow through and a lot of the other stuff, the actual organizing of it left a lot to be desired, because fans had no idea where they were supposed to go. VIP were paying money for what, I don't know. There was rumors that it was actually supposed to be free, and because the weed festival was free and you could still access Rhymefest through that. So it was a lot of like, what's what here? I have no idea. But yeah, at least I got my t-shirts as soon as they arrived. AWOL1 brought them. I spent almost the entire day folding every shirt and making my piles and, having little interactions with fans who would like come across me and be like, oh, what's up? Yo, what are you doing? Because I was kind of like tucked away. It was a perfect environment for me where I didn't have to like continually talk to people, but enough people saw me that they bought merch, and like we had a good exchange. That was great. Like everything was lovely. Like people were nice. It was a chill event. We were in the food vendor area, so it smelled nice. Like everything was good. Even though I was a worrywart, and I always am, because I'm always thinking about what's going to go wrong, what's going to go wrong. A lot did go wrong, and everything was still moving along. So blah 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 blah. I'm scared my DJ won't be able to get in.
Oh shit, yeah. Just
because it's so busy and people are confused. There's no parking, or he's gonna have to park, and I'm continually texting him. I'm like, yo, Zols, like you gotta, like, I'm trying to explain to him how to access this spot, and he just had like a really something about these California people. They're chill. They're just like the East Coast, weed. Like.
Or the weed.
I said, yo, this festival could never, ever, ever happen on the East Coast. Not in a million years. It would never be successful. It would never come. Like, you could not be this disorganized and it still work out. Right. Because people would fucking flex on you. Like, people would be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, but people are just like, we do this so often around here in California. Yeah. We know what to do. Like, we know how things are going to fall into place. It's okay. Chill out, buddy. So I needed that chill out, buddy. He's like, no, it's cool. We'll figure it out. It's gonna work out. But no, I don't live by that. I don't live by it'll all work out. No, that's not the way to get things done.
Let me ask you: did it when it all came coming through? Was it because of you had just a whole lineup of experienced artists? That's how the show ended up working out, because you guys all know how to.
Partially, yes. Partially because the fans were forgiving, and the grace of the fans, the grace of the artists. We are all mature artists. All of us are old heads. Actually, we were talking. Tumex was kind of lamenting about that in a very funny way at the merch booth. He's just like, it's like old Motown cats. Like, fuck all these new rappers. Like, like we're the old cats. We did this, we did that. You guys are fucking it up. It's like, it was funny. It was just funny to be part of that. Cause I'm like, yeah, we are all seasoned veterans. We know how to make this work out. We've done this a billion times. We're familiar with it enough to the point where even when you a couple kinks are thrown into the mix, like we know the workarounds, you know, like nothing's going to stop us from rocking a crowd. Even if the sound totally goes out, we know how to manage that situation. So yeah, finally DJ Zoll arrives. The hell, let me see. I forgot something.
It does not sound like you're shitting on it at all. It just sounds like, here's how the experience went for me. So
yeah, but I felt like neglected in a weird way. It was they took advantage. I felt taken advantage of. A big part of me felt like I was taken advantage of. The other part of me is incredibly grateful I could even be part of this lineup and get my name out there again and be in front of a crowd to prove I am who I am because I do this.
Yeah.
Like people know me, people follow me. I have a successful career. I'm famous, strange famous for a reason.
Yeah.
Because being dormant for those 3+ years, I'm sure like people have a short-term memory, not my core audience, but people who've heard my name but never really saw what I do or understood the energy that I bring.
Right.
That can easily be forgotten and washed away.
Yeah.
So to have these opportunities to step in front of a larger crowd and touch everybody all at the same time and reignite that interest in what I am and what Strange Famous Records was very important. And I was so grateful I did not take the easy way out when it was probably the better solution for my mental health and physical health to just say, I can't make this trip. It's fucked up, but I'm not going to do it. Yeah.
Sorry. I want to tell this real quick story, but because I want to just share that I absolutely understand your feeling of there comes a point when shit's just gotten so bad that you're willing to just say, fuck it. I'm done. I'm not going. I was 4-wheeling in a Jeep we had bought out in Moab and it broke down out in the fucking gnarliest area. And I was like, I'm just fucking leaving this Jeep here. And I totally settled with that. I was like, I'll fucking just leave it here. I can't deal with this. And then you start going through your mind about how can I really do that? You figure out ways to make it work. And I don't know. I was just really connecting with that feeling of this is fucked.
But I think you get 1 or 2 passes in your lifetime where you can do that, but people do it too often. Like people give up too often when faced with adversity, when it seems impossible, when it feels impossible, and they don't give themselves a chance to figure out if they can overcome that. Because it's so easy just to give up. And I felt that bitch in me. I was like, don't succumb to that bitch part of you.
Yeah.
Like so many people do that. You are better than that. Like, even if you failed trying to make this happen, you will prove to everyone you gave your fucking all.
Yeah.
And while everyone else gives up, you show up. Like, you are the one who gets there and gets it done. Oh, brings us back to people who have bailed on you guys for this podcast. Even artists that I work with, who I set you up with. Yo, you're going to get a fucking earful from me the next time we meet. Talk.
Well, I'm still texting. One of them might possibly still come on tonight.
Oh, what?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
One of them didn't show up to the Rhymefest because they faced flight problems like I did.
Right.
That's the one.
Sleep.
That's the one. He's the one.
Well, hey,
every once in a while, he responds to my text. He's like, "Yeah, I'll do it," and then then he ghosts.
I'm curious. Did you remember all your lyrics, and how did it feel when you were up there? Were you thinking about your kids? Were you thinking about the songs themselves?
By the time I got on the stage, it was almost sunset. So the whole day I'm out in the sun. If people saw pictures, I definitely got a sunburn. Even though it wasn't hot, like that was, it wasn't hot. It was almost like you could wear a hoodie and be comfortable.
The sun still cooks in the cold.
Yeah, the sun still just blasted me. I'm all red. I'm exhausted. I need my water. I could really use some food, some replenishment, like some basic amenities that artists need to perform. So I get up there. By the time I get up there, it was after the Freestyle Fellowship Project Blowed kind of like took over the stage with 100 people. And this was the first time everything was on a schedule right up until that. So I wasn't hitting the stage at the time I was supposed to. And by the time I got on stage, I was the first artist that Immortal Technique introduced. So it was like, okay, now it gets more official because Immortal Technique is the host. From this point moving forward, there is a host.
Yeah.
And they come up to us and they're like, to me and Zoel, and they're like, yo, so we're a little over time, like if you can like cut down your set by this much. And I'm thinking, what the fuck, man? Like, I want to be like, no.
Yeah.
In fact, most MCs would just be like, okay, and then just like everyone else, just go over time.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what, whatever. Like I cut out The Best of Times was the last song I was going to do. So that's the song I took out. And I'm like, you guys just will do without this song.
That hurts me. I was just talking about that song in the intro again. I love that.
I'm actually going to be performing it this weekend at my niece's memorial, at a niece who passed away at the age of 18. She had heart problems, and she was born with heart problems, and it's awful, awful stuff. But she lived to be 18. And then there was medical malpractice with one of her surgeries, and it resulted in her death. And that was 2 years ago. So it took 2 years for her mom and her family to heal from that in order for us to celebrate her. But I get to bring that song to that event and perform with another daughter of hers. I'm getting sidetracked right now, but
I don't know how you could do that.
Well, I feel like that is a better environment for that song than Rhymefest was for Best of Times, because it just was didn't feel like the right energy to bring that song to it. So I was okay cutting that out of the set, even though some fans were definitely upset about it. Cause like, oh, I wanted to hear that song, but to your question, Adrienne, I did forget some lyrics. Like as soon as I got out there, the shock of just being out there, out in the open air, sun on me, crowds, I can't hear my voice. I didn't do sound check.
Oh, right.
I alerted the sound man before my set. I said, listen, most MCs want to hear the beats. I was like, I actually need my voice to be a lot louder than the music. And he's like, oh yeah, I got you. I was like, no. I was like, seriously, like I know people might say this to you sometimes. My voice doesn't pick up very well on a microphone. Please give me a lot of volume on my mic. Of course, as always, there's hardly any mic in my monitors. I can't hear my voice. So while I'm performing the song, I'm also looking at the sound man, trying to alert him, I can't hear my fucking voice. Right. Please pick it up. In that process, I did miss some certain lines during Crack Pipes, I think. That was the first song I did. And but it, I just trudged forward, and like everything fell into place. And
when you notice that you miss a lyric, do you get flustered and get lost, or are you able to find yourself right back in?
I can usually find myself back in. My immediate response to that is I smash myself in the face with my microphone.
Oh, okay.
And it's involuntary. It just happens. I'm like, I will fucking hit myself. And if people ever see me doing this, like snapping while I'm rapping on stage, that makes me remember my rhymes.
Oh, okay.
Like if I feel like I'm starting to forget something, if I snap, like that kickstarts something in my brain, or like, oh yeah, it's like that's the word, that's the connection that you're supposed to be making right now. So I never I just remembered that at these last two performances I did, because I'm like, oh yeah, I do that. Like that actually worked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did forget some, but most of all, it all came together. The crowd was joining in with the lyrics. They were helping with the choruses. My confidence like grew and grew a lot after that first song, and just getting back into the swing of things and realizing, okay, I remember all of this now. I remember this feeling. I remember how you know, like how to go from this to that. The most difficult part of the first show at that of like the California shows was the banter.
Yeah.
Like my banter was gone. It's something I love most about performing live is like how to transition between songs, how to address the crowd, how to say stuff that isn't part of songs. And it was so unnatural to me at that point. I was actually saying things all out of order. Things weren't making sense. Like 50 years of hip hop, like trying to just saying that, like, hey, happy 50 years of hip. I was like, hip hop, 50 years.
Yeah.
What's up? I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, after I did the show, it went really well. I wanted to stick around to see other performers, but I also wanted to make money on this show. So I went almost immediately to where we were selling t-shirts. Maybe for an hour, I sold as many as I could. And then I decided I've been through enough. I did my show. I've already been paid, although I'm still owed $45, but I'm not going to bug the promoter about that. But the principle of the matter is,
sure.
I did want it because it would have paid for my meals at that show anyways. Sure. So I packed up. If I was young, I don't know at what age I would stick around to see all the acts I wanted to see at this event, because it would have been great, just like Dead Prez performed after me. I would have loved to just watch them instead of me trying to sell stuff and then get out of there. And Mad Lion performed before me, which was the only act I actually got to see on the stage. And I was super excited about that because I had never seen Mad Lion perform before. I don't know how familiar California even is with Mad Lion, because he came up East Coast with KRS-One. And
right.
I noticed the crowd didn't really know anthems like to us that are automatic. Like we know to pop in certain words with Mad Lion when his songs play. And I noticed that the crowd really wasn't catching on, but he lives there now. And he had a food truck. So he was selling Jamaican jerk chicken and meats. And he said, if you go and buy food from his food truck, he'll sign your plate.
That's awesome.
Do you think that, like, now being so far away from that, it's been a couple months now, or a month, I don't know what month we're in, do you think maybe that was the best way it could have gone for you, because it took the stresses of leaving home, the stresses of the lyrics, and gave you a whole new set of shit to worry about, and that you had to just push through? And does that make it a little bit easier now?
I think so. Yeah, it was a warm welcome back into the travel world. Warm welcome back into, it was almost like a punishment for being away for so long. Like, we're going to put you through the gauntlet. Mm-hmm. We're going to make this as difficult as possible for you, but the reward will make you realize, yes, this is worth it. And you do love this. Don't convince yourself that you're done. Don't convince yourself that this is a past life. This is actually a parallel life that you need to figure out.
Leading up to that, do you feel like you have been doing a little bit more of that, kind of almost trying to convince yourself that that you don't need to do it anymore?
Yeah. Because I don't. I do and I don't.
Right.
I love that I can do it on smaller scales. I don't have to plan national tours. I don't have to make these big, giant promotional gestures.
Right.
I kind of am privileged enough in the music world, and to have as hardcore of a fan base as I do, I can do enough, like a little bit, and it's enough. Mm-hmm. Not too many shows. I could probably survive on 5 big shows a year, but I'll do more when it makes sense to do so. But that California jaunt still wasn't done, because the next day I had to drive 7 hours to Berkeley, California. So the very next day I had to get up early. And when I got up, this couple that was staying in the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it was the same couple I saw the night before, but as I'm handing in my key, as I'm getting out the door, the girl and her boyfriend or partner also are getting out. And I recognize her because we had a long chat at the show. Because she had a sage tattoo and like she had been to all previous California shows. She's such a sweetie, like super, super sweet. And she doesn't get out much anymore because she's a mom. So she had someone babysitting her kid. And I'm like, yo, I was like, you were here. I was like, you're staying in this hotel? And she was like, yeah, we were in the room right next door to you. And in my head, I'm like, yo, that means you heard me rehearsing my set the day before, because I had to rehearse inside of my hotel room. And there's no way that she didn't hear that when I was like trying to figure out my lyrics and remember shit and all the other dumb stuff I probably said through those walls. It wasn't a very thick-walled hotel. But yeah, so I saw
that
her.
Probably like, made her trip.
I hope so.
Door to you.
I do. I hope so. And she was so sweet. Like, it was good to just have that feeling. Like, she was satisfied with the show. She didn't say anything bad about staying next door to me in the hotel. I get to drive to Berkeley now and ruminate for the next 7 hours on all the things that had just happened, what I would never want to do when I organize my own event, and try to make things as easy as possible for the people who are attending the event and the people who are performing at the event and the people who are working the event. So these are things I've already knew, but it was like cemented in stone after having lived that and driving for those 7 hours through Flatlands, California. Yeah. Nothing beautiful. You think in your head, California, must be beautiful. No, it was not beautiful. It was just flatlands. Oh, there's a cactus. Flatland.
Well,
and the reward really was playing in Berkeley after that, because I got to headline that event and I already worked out all the jitters and I remembered everything, but then I could focus on my songs more, and I was performing Make 'Em Purr and I fucking cried in the middle of the song.
Oh, shit. Yeah, but that's, yeah, God. For me as a fan, for me as someone, I would have loved, that feels so good to see an artist perform.
I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do that. I fought it. And those words were sticking to me, and I was just living my last life, and I was like, I could cry again right now just thinking about it. It's like the song just hit too hard. It was like too real to me. It wasn't a song anymore. It was an account.
Right.
And that's when it becomes a problem. And I want to get through the song, and I don't want this to derail the performance. I mean, it's good to see an artist get emotional. It's like real to them. That's great.
Yeah.
Yet,
not when it derails the...
No, don't derail your set. Get through it. And I did. And I thank the crowd for being as understanding and supportive as they were in that moment. So that was beautiful. That show was so good. The crowd is so cool. It was all love. I got to see my old homies, Big Jess and Bren. They drove down from Reno to be there. Jess used to be he was my merch guy on the Human the Death Dance tour. So seeing actual friends, people I knew out there, and knowing that like my next move was flying home, and getting to be like with my family again.
And then you have stories to tell them. You have new things to talk about over the dinner table.
Yeah, and I'm glad I got to tell that whole story now, because I don't ever want to tell it again. Like yesterday was Mother's Day, and like we had a sister, our like in-laws were over, and they're like, "So how was your show?" Like, it looked really good. I was like, "Oh yeah, the show was great." Wait till you hear the story about the fucking flight, which I don't want to tell you right now because it's too long. And I thank you for your ears. If anyone out there was bored by all that, I apologize. But just know the shit that people go through to get to where they need to go in order to do the thing that you paid to see. Sometimes, they're not getting paid enough for that.
Yeah, there's a lot more behind everything that all artists do that nobody sees behind the curtain. Nobody knows how much work it actually is.
And when we're on that side of that, we go, they should know, but then
a good artist always makes it look really easy too.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that's a trap in itself. It's just like, you made it look easy, but so they don't really know. You know, maybe you should play up how much struggle you're going through at the very moment.
What I have discovered is people actually don't give a shit.
Yeah. Why should they? Because they went through their own shit to get there.
Yeah, and I get that makes me angry. Price. I'm like, you should give a shit, but then I go, well, I get it.
I think the hard part is when your family doesn't realize how hard you're working, and they just think you're taking it so easy, and you're just eating it up. But then you're like, but you don't know what it's like to wake up in your van and someone's peeing on it, and they're on, they're on their cell phone saying, I'm peeing on this van in this parking lot.
Did that happen to you in Seattle, Adrienne?
And you're like, wait, I'm in this. I'm sleeping in here.
Seattle.
What I mean?
That happened in Seattle. We were asleep in the van behind a gas station, and
by
it was
our
like
show.
Yeah, it was like 3 a.m, and some dude's just pissing on our van.
I'm trying to work out a Seattle show right now. Like,
where
August. I'm trying to play Seattle, Olympia, and maybe Vancouver.
When you start thinking about where you want to play it, does any of the stuff where you go like, oh, I had this great memory from a past show there. Do you ever try to chase any of those?
No, I leave almost all things to chance. So Olympia hit me up with a great offer. And I'm sure if I pursued other cities that I know I do really well at, I could get a better offer. But they hit me up. Yeah. Like something about that makes that more of a priority. So I said, I'll definitely try to do that. Let me see if I can get another show in the proximity. Not too close, but Seattle obviously is one of my bigger
BC
markets.
Is pretty close.
What's that?
BC is pretty close too. If you
but I don't know what it's like crossing the border these days, and there's just that extra difficulty might make it weird. Yeah. Vancouver is I have incredible shows in Vancouver, so I'd love to do that. So those would be I thought I had all my shows booked for the year. But then when Olympia hit me up, and I'm like, Seattle, Olympia, and maybe Vancouver, I could fit that into August. Yeah, well, let's see if it works out. So I don't know yet, but the next big show, the next big event, Strange Famous Festival in Denver, Colorado.
Before we go into the Strange Famous Fest, let me ask you a quick question. Which schoolyard diss stings more? My dad can beat up your dad, or your mom jokes?
The dad one, I think. Mom jokes became you're pretty separated from it until you meet the kid whose mom is dead.
Yeah, sure.
Or whose mom is a crackhead. It's if you have a normal or semi-normal upbringing and your parents are still around. Because the dad one's more real.
Yeah, my dad.
The dad one, oh really? Okay.
Do you know Bill Hicks, the comedian?
Of course, yeah.
He's got that great joke about because it's real funny to me. But he said, I never got along with my dad. So when kids used to come up to me and say, my dad can beat up your dad, he'd say, well, when?
He's the best. I love Bill Hicks. I have so much of his material. Man, what a loss that you lost him way too soon.
Yeah.
How incredible would it be to get a Bill Hicks take on everything that's been going on in recent years?
Yep.
It's crucial. It would be so fucking good.
Yeah.
That's a sad loss.
Yeah, it really is. So Strange Fame Fest, June 17th.
Yeah, June 17th, they hit me up last year with, they asked me to headline a free event at the Levitt Pavilion in Denver. They throw several free shows every summer in Denver, and they hit me up because I have a sizable fan base in Colorado. It's actually always been my biggest market. And they hit me up like, hey, you want to do one of these? And it's a free show, like a real free show. Right. People can just get in. They have to reserve their tickets, but it's free. Unless they want to get VIP, which is a little bit extra, but not much. Yeah. So I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? This would be a really good payday for me. I could actually really use this money But also, this is a big venue, and our artists have been busting their ass through COVID. Most cannot tour anymore. Most are working full-time jobs or have their families the same way I do. And it would be so sweet if we could share this together and make it an event where we celebrate the label and not just Sage Francis with a couple openers. I want to get as many people there as possible who are on the label and get us on board with not just recording material together by sending files through email and stuff, but actually meeting one another, sharing the same space, and feeling some more camaraderie amongst these people who I know all of them, but all of them don't know each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great opportunity. And I'm thinking, for Denver's always been so great to me. If I could bestow that upon the artists I work with so closely, to me, it almost like I only had a half second to think about it. It's like, A, I would love the money. B, I actually love this idea more, that we all get to come together as long as we can afford it with the budget that we were given. And it looks like, I don't want to speak too soon, but it looks like there will still be money to be made even after flying in the people I'm flying in and purchasing cool. Lodging and whatever else.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't like they hit you up saying we're looking for a Strange Fame Fest. They hit you up for a show, and you decided, you know what, I'll take this budget and turn it into a Strange Famous Fest.
Yeah, like a mini festival.
Yeah.
One that's about 5 or 6 hours long. A lot of truncated sets, so everyone's going to be doing about 15 minutes, maybe 20 here and there. My set will be the longest I'll be headlining it. So I'm still the headliner, but I can foresee that I'd be bringing up artists that I have songs with during my set. It is a celebration of Strange Famous Records. It's something we've never gotten to do outside of South by Southwest, where we did have a Strange Famous showcase in like 2007 or some shit like that. But most of our artists, most of the roster actually will be there. A lot of them are friends with one another. They're very excited just to share that space and chill out. We get there a day early just so we can bro down or sister down and acclimate to the elevation of Denver. Some of these artists have never performed in Denver. Personally, I've never experienced that. It never seemed to have affected my live performance.
But it is real.
Yeah, because a lot of people talk about it like, I run out of breath a lot quicker. But with their truncated sets, maybe that will help out, and like they can push through and not pass out. If they do, I'm sure there's EMTs on site who can help out.
I think the day before, just to get them acclimated.
Yeah.
Ibuprofen. I always get a headache every time we go back to Utah. Even because we're 5,000 feet above, I get a headache right away.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've never experienced that. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did either until she started pointing out. I always thought it was the travel, but then I started realizing, you know what, maybe it is. But yeah, I don't know. Well, yes, 50. So that I was going to ask that. Yes, so everyone's going to, all the performers are thinking about a 15-minute set. Gosh dang, it's like it's so exciting.
It is.
I think so too, because it's not just the performers. I mean, the fact that you guys going to be there, but we also have like a photographer homie who's going to like be doing a pictorial. Like having Storm there. I just did a show in Rhode Island. So Storm Davis, he manages Strange Famous Records, but he's a rapper. I only knew of him because he's a rapper, and that's why he manages Strange Famous. But he's never performed at one of my shows. And at my last Rhode Island show, I got to get him up on stage during my set to do a song that he's going to do at the Denver, at the Strange Famous Fest. Because I wanted to see, because I knew it had been a long time since he'd performed. I'm like, you still got it, old man. We're both about the same age, but even I'm feeling it. Like it does take a little bit more effort to get it out of you. And then when you're in Denver, like that can definitely make it more difficult with the thin air or whatever the stuff's going on there. So, and yeah, he killed it. I'm excited he gets to meet fans outside of the New England area, because I don't think it's been a very long time since he's traveled. And artists of ours who may not have even met him before. That's just cool. Like, we get to all be in the same space. There's more to it as well. Well, we're sharing an Airbnb, a lot of us, the day before, and you guys are invited to it. In fact, it might be a good spot to do some recordings. If you're not going to do podcasts there and you're doing them at the event, that's cool too. I think I'm going to be bringing a recorder just to get field recordings. And
yeah, I'm bringing them live. We're bringing live recorder things.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, after we finish this up, I'll discuss logistics of something that we had an idea on.
All right, because I do have a thing that you can plug a bunch of microphones into, and it works really well. Like, it's meant for podcasts that I bought ages ago and never used.
Yeah, that's well, because that's what we were thinking would be awesome to do, since pretty much everyone that's performing has been a guest on the show. It would be really cool to do. And my whole thing is, like, it's your guys' Strange Fame Fest. I don't want to, like, oh shit. What am I trying to say?
Well, insert yourself, man. You're part of.
I don't like to
you
do
guys
that.
You feel like you're part of the family now. It's like a symbiotic relationship that Strange Famous has with DOD45. Anyway, I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Is everybody going to have their own merch and stuff?
We're hoping so. Although, they should. Yeah, we're working out. We're gonna have some shirts printed in Denver, so we'll pick up there. And I'm trying to think who might not. Like, whoever. Some artists just aren't merch heavy. Like, they don't care. And for them, we'll have to probably just grab stuff out of the office, just have things available for everybody. But I don't want the merch table to look like a never-ending item fest. But
people can come to the show thinking or hoping that they can get something from their favorite artist or from the label and go home, take something home with them.
They should. Yeah, we're going to be printing posters, screen printing posters with an original design for the Strange Famous Fest that all the artists are going to sign. So that in itself is going to be a very cool item.
That's a cool thing about a free show is you have some money in your wallet to buy some merch.
That's exactly what we're going to impress upon people. Like, hey, the show is free. The merch costs money.
Yeah. No, is there anything that are you guys going to do rehearsals before that, or is it's up to everyone who's been, you don't know yet?
Yeah, it's totally up to everyone else. I'm trying to, I owe everybody a mass email. The last one I sent, hardly anyone responded to. Like, they're like, oh, here's Sage sending a bunch of paragraphs again. I'm just trying to get everyone on the same page. I'm succinct though. I'm not just saying things because I like to see words. I want everything to be so that people can refer to it and say, hey, I wonder if, Sage mentioned that already. Let me see. Okay, yeah, we will be there at this time. Oh, this is where we need to be the day before if we want to convene or play board games with Cast One. And
I think that B&B thing is a great idea for you guys to be, like, for everyone to just be able to.
Yeah, one spot. In my head, I'm like, one spot. Let's go one spot. That's why I got this Airbnb, so we could all share it together. And but also some artists are like me and they don't want to be around a lot of people.
Yep.
Like, I get that. And even though I booked the Airbnb and in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll stay there too. I know a part of me is already looking for another hotel.
Well, at least you can share the air for a while and leave when you want and go.
No, seriously, have a family dinner, have a labeled dinner. I'll break some bread together, tell some jokes, get some. We're gonna do like portrait photos, get some press shots going, and just meet before the day before the show, because at the show you're going to be nervous, you're going to be busy, you're going to be trying to sell merch. The day before the show, you're arriving, you're settling in, and we can be friendly for once, and not just business and not just art, but friendly, chill, if possible. It's an experiment.
I think it'll be great. I think you'll be glad that you did that.
Do you have any sense of the from the venue? Like, I obviously it's going to be a huge thing, but do you get numbers of like how many people have registered and all that stuff? Not
well, I asked about that last month. I think it was maybe a month ago, and they said it was the most RSVPs they've gotten for the summer. It was at 1,500 at that point.
Wow.
So by this point, maybe over 2,000. I would hope.
What is the capacity of the?
It's 7,500. So it's got a lot of space.
Yeah. How exciting!
or maybe 5,000. But if we could fill that in, we'll be overwhelmed at the merch booth. We're gonna have extra workers. We're gonna have to get runners. All these things that I'm starting to get nervous about, which is. Before, the other events that I played, I was nervous for different reasons. This one, I'm the organizer, I'm the facilitator. I have to be nervous about the stuff I wish were taken care of in the other.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. What? I guess our kids aren't.
Well, I was gonna say, if there's anything that we can do on our end, let us know. We'll be driving. I think we'll be driving.
We haven't decided if we're gonna fly in or drive in. Yeah, well, shit.
But yeah, let us know because I think if we're driving, I mean, we can carry stuff in where you guys.
No, we should be good. We should be totally good. People, I've already told this to the artists, like my concerns, and all of them were like, "Dog, we'll have a car, we'll have a van, we'll be able to do this and do that. It's all taken care of. Yeah. The venue's taking care of the food, and waters and drinks, so everything's taken care of." I'm not me unless I'm thinking of every possible thing that could go wrong and taking it out on others in my attitude.
Well, we're incredibly resourceful. So when we do say, if anything ever comes up, even last minute, we can.
Dag, you just reminded me though. I need to talk to Sleep. Shout out again to Sleep. Shout out. I love you, homie, but I want to make sure you do make it to this show. And there's no problems.
Where does he live?
He lives in Seattle or Portland, right?
Yeah, I think he's in. Yeah, I think he's in Portland.
I was gonna say because we can go over to his house and grab him.
We can drive up there and pick him up.
I need to sleep there. His Sleep's energy is so good. He's such a nice dude. But yeah, he's.
Oh, I have a great interview lined up for him. Both him and Trademark, if either one of them come through, I got a great interview.
Trademark's in a whole other realm because Trademark, I mean, he's getting his master's degree, but he also obviously has a lot of mental health issues that he navigates and deals with on a daily basis. So the fact that he even finished the album with Mopes, we were like, wow, like this motherfucker actually was able to dedicate his time, talent, and energy to this one project in enough time to get it finished by this point. But we're pushing that album back because we want to get videos for it. And the album we want to get out before Strange Famous Fest is by Jivin' Scientists. It's called Cicada. And they're from Tucson, Arizona. I know of them because of shows I've done with them in Arizona, and their live performance is so cool. It's like they go above and beyond. They do some incredible stuff. And Runsky, the MC, is like he's been around forever, as long as I have. He's been around since like the late 90s. So he's a seasoned vet as an MC. And I gotta connect them with you.
Yeah.
Like whenever you've got openings, I'll ask them what they want to do because we want to put that out at the end of this month. So at the end of or maybe end of May, beginning of June, I don't know. We're doing that now. They've had the album done for years.
Okay.
It's been done for years, and we sat on it and we're like, wait, what's going on? We're waiting for a video. We're waiting for this. We're waiting for that. Nah, let's get this shit out now because we want to move forward with all the other stuff and get you guys working with our other artists. And so
I think we have a soft spot in our hearts for what Tucsonians? What do you call them?
Tucsonians?
That was kind of one of the first places we would go and start doing shows, and we did.
Tucson's a cool town.
Yeah, so
is it? I don't know.
Is it really? It takes going there about 40 times to figure it out.
I don't know.
Yeah, we had a
Congress Hotel is all I really know about it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we stayed there.
Yeah. But it's so different now.
Have you been there recently? Because well, shit, I haven't been there since the. Well, no, I was there the one year after the
2019.
pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting. It's been interesting over the last however many years, but.
Well, we'll let you get out of here. Is there anything else you want to finish up about the Strange Fame Fest, though?
Just if people want to go to strangefamousrecords.com.
Oh,
you're going to RSVP.
What do I have on this? It's not on this.
I can't remember. I RSVP'd. I can't remember.
Yeah, so we have the link in the event section at strangefamous.com. Okay. So go there. If you live anywhere close to Denver, or you're looking for a reason to explore Colorado with a loved one or a friend, outside of Denver, there's incredible mountains, hiking areas and stuff like that. People, if you like nature, Denver itself is not, it's not for that. It's a metropolis, so it's its own thing. But it's gonna be a special event. I want it to be so popular that we can do it every single year. For many years, if not in Denver, somewhere else. But because if this doesn't go exactly how I want, or if it doesn't exceed my expectations, I'm going to say, fuck it. I should have done a fucking Sage Francis show and just left it at that.
That's not going to happen.
No, I don't see how it could happen.
I'm more excited just to actually hang with all these people at the same time. But I don't know how else to coerce people to check it out, because it's such a good group of artists. It's such it's going to be a loving event. It's going to be a welcoming event. It's going to be an all ages event. You can definitely not have to worry that there's going to be knuckleheads about, trying to
do what the knuckleheads do.
Well, and Levitt Pavilion is pretty close to Denver, so there's a lot of rooms available, a lot of hotels nearby.
Well,
yeah.
But that show that you got, the Rhode Island show, the vibe, I only, seeing the videos of you, Blacklick, Jesse the Tree, Storm too, right?
And Mopes.
Yeah, it seemed like everything, it was all love in there.
It was. I feel like that was a mini Strange Famous festival where we were kind of gearing up for what it might be like in Denver in July. It was so fun. It was so happy and just flowing, and Jesse the Tree is such a, he's a wizard with his glow. He can't not be happy or chill around Jesse. He's funny. Because everyone's just a nice dude. Blacklick is probably the most complicated character to figure out in person, where you're like, are you gonna smile? And then he does. I got pictures of it to prove it. He doesn't like it, but we got pictures. We made that dude smile, and he was feeling the energy. He really got to experience what a great Strange Famous show is all about. Because unfortunately, I stuck him and Jesse the Tree with a new-ish promoter in Denver last year.
Oh yeah, that was their show.
Awful show. It's everything went bad. The promoter didn't even show up to the show.
Oh shit.
They could easily shit on this venue. They never did. They never talked trash about it. But that promoter and that venue can count themselves lucky, because they pulled every bad move in the book, and I felt embarrassed.
Yeah,
I don't put my artists in such horrible situations where it makes me look bad. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. And they were supposed to be taken care of, and they weren't. So anyways, we washed that away. We give them a great show in Rhode Island, and then go back to Denver and do Denver the way it's supposed to be done.
The Denver's going to be, because I remember when we were talking with Jesse, he was very much excited to perform outside of, or in Denver so
yeah.
Unfortunately, he didn't get it then, but it's even better that he's going to be at what's going to happen in June.
What's also crazy is this is probably going to be the biggest audience any of them have performed in front of. Cool. So you get to see how they react to that, and how that affects their stage performance. And I think it's going to be awesome. We're filming it. I'm going to see if we can live stream it. I don't know if that's the best move actually, but we're going to actually, it'll be filmed at least. So if we can put it all together and make something that other people can view afterward.
Yeah. I did want to ask this question. One of my favorite comedians, her name's Sarah Pascoe. She's a Brit. But she was talking about people's discovery of music, and I just saw her on a podcast a couple of nights ago, but she was talking about shows and how expensive they've become. She was specifically talking about the Edinburgh comedy thing.
The Fringe Fest, or
it's like the South by Southwest for
I played that twice.
Yeah, she was saying
in Edinburgh.
Yeah,
okay.
Back then, or back in the time when people were finding new comedians. Hers is based on comedy, but I think it applies to music as well. But she was saying, you know, it's like $5 or £5 a ticket then. Now it's like 18, 20, and people aren't willing to spend that kind of money on a new comedian they might not know about. And I was feeling about the same. The cost of shows, maybe it's detrimental to shit. I was trying to piggyback on this being a free show, the Strange Fame.
Yeah, I will say shows of this sort that are free are incredibly rare.
Yeah,
I never see it. I think that's something that makes it more special than I'm probably giving it credit for.
Yeah,
you're not going to get a festival like this for free anywhere. No. This is a very, very unique circumstance. And that's partly what inspired me to make it a festival, a mini festival with all our artists. Because I'm like, you never see this. No. Like, you're not going to get a Sage Francis show in Denver for free. Like, right. At least you're going to be paying at least $25 just to see me, and that's a cheap ticket price.
Yeah.
Overall. Mm-hmm. People are charging way more than they used to. I was like, the Rhode Island performer showed me what Jizza and some other performers were charging, like $50 a ticket.
I'm sure.
Man.
And I'm like, what? Are you serious? I'm like, well, if they can get away with it, awesome. Like, I'm not going to like do that. But I was like, I never thought of doing that. I always feel for the ticket buyer. And even then when I was playing Berkeley, which was a legendary punk club, they got weird about me thinking we should charge $25 for the ticket because it's supposed to be that's too expensive for a show.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, yeah, I get it, but it's 2023.
And a plate of food is roughly $20.
Yeah, that's true. Well, now. I guess I guess overall, I'm wondering, are the fans being strangled? Not only that, the artists are too. Like, you're not making the revenue you used to through sales and merch and stuff like that. So you got to try to. There's got to be a way to make the money, but my fear is I'm fearful for shows and music and musicians. I have a real fear of it with AI. Everything, all these things are really got me worried about good music continuing, and so maybe I don't even know why I have anxiety about that, but it's a real serious anxiety that I have.
Yeah, I don't think you should. And with the rise of AI, actually, it'll probably help out live shows because it's one main thing AI will never really affect is live performances. And that's where you get to see real life talent and creativity in front of your eyes without any computer elements. And it's a forever classic.
Yeah. All right, let me hit you with these rapid fire, the dish. It's a new thing that I just came up with last night, and then we'll let you get out of here. This is called the dish now.
Okay.
It's rapid fire.
Dish me.
All right. Who out there do you think has a negative opinion of you?
I have to come. I don't get a multiple choice.
No.
I know. I'm sure an ex-girlfriend or two.
Oh, okay. Who do you just not get, or who do you have a negative opinion about?
An ex-girlfriend or two.
What the fuck is up with Kid Rock?
He's sad, man. He's a sad, lost dude who thinks, like he panders to a certain crowd that laps up his bullshit. I don't know, man. I mean, I bought his first tape when it came out. I followed his career. It's tough to see because he was semi-respected in the hip-hop world. He DJ'd for Run DMC in the hip-hop like VH1 honors, like he was included, and now he's just like he's taken this whole like anti-woke thing to a whole other That's so crazy, man. It's just like he's always trying to find. I don't know. That's something I'm gonna have to think about for a long time, but I never will because I can't like stand.
You don't need to.
Who do you think you'd make some bangers with if you were given the chance that you haven't ever made music with?
Prince Paul, absolutely. His whimsical, like funny, like weird shit. If we could mix that with LP. Both producers I've talked to over the years, and we always discuss maybe doing something, and nothing ever happened. If I could combine those two into a super producer group, where I think they like balance each other in a very interesting way, and I could navigate those soundscapes the way I've always been able to do when writing and performing over their instrumentals.
Well, let's actively continue working on that. What's the biggest mistake you've ever made, or you made in your career?
I guess signing to a foreign label, a UK label, Lex Records. I should have never signed away the rights to my music early on in my career without understanding how they were going to operate.
Right. I don't know if it's too personal, but what about the biggest mistake in your personal life?
There's a long list there, but nothing that really sticks out. I guess maybe my biggest mistake was just not making amends with people before they passed away.
Yeah.
Those kind of things that you regret because it's something that never gets tied up. This closure can never truly happen without an exchange of some sort.
Yeah.
So, a lot of family members that I wish I could have really spoken with in a mature adult way, but I wasn't old enough yet.
And then what worst song you ever made?
Worst song I ever made was probably with the first, real recorded song in a studio was with AOI, my first band. We did some great stuff, but some stuff I listened to and I'm so embarrassed by it. I hate it. And it kind of was like, I just felt like I had to work with my situation and experiment a little bit. And then you realize that wasn't a worthwhile experiment. I'm not even going to say what the song or songs were because I don't want to ever
look it up and bring it out.
Away. Like I made it go away.
And then troll you with it. And your best song you ever made?
I think the one with the longest lasting power is Sea Lion.
The force of my love was strong. Sea lion lays down long. Song in the air. Why the fuck should I care? Are y'all still with me in here? Hands in the air like this. Mom, look what I did, Mom. Look what I did in my hands. You gave me the stone, gave me the chisel. Didn't say how to hold them. Didn't say give away every piece of the puzzle till I was left with nothing. I took it upon myself to crush it up and distribute the dust.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear that? The girls, the ukulele cover of that on YouTube? It's like 8 years old, but
yeah.
Force of my love was strong. The sea lion laying down long. Song in the air, why I should sing or care when singer could be among the song. Look what I did, my hands are broken. Gave me the stone, gave me the chisel, didn't say how to hold them.
that song was pretty cool. I just saw it last night, actually.
Yeah, there's been that's the most covered song, so that's kind of why I'm like, is this my best song? Is it's the most like every time I perform it, the crowd really, really reacts. They always punch in all the lines, but it's the same thing with Escape Artist and does that make it my best song? I don't know. I think it has the greatest appeal, mass appeal, Sea Lion, without purposely trying to get mass appeal. It just is catchy enough with the inclusion, with the talents of Will Oldham on guitar and vocals and Alias on the beat. Rest in peace, my brother.
Who are you jealous of?
I'm not jealous of anybody.
Perfect. What's the biggest lie you ever told?
biggest lie that's been told that's been revealed to be a lie.
Yeah.
That I graduated university. I'm just kidding.
Whatever his name is.
The truth of the matter is, I don't know if I actually graduated because they told me I needed like 2 extra credits. They kept stringing me along. And I said, fuck it. I don't need this. I'm not doing it. And then my diploma showed up in the mail at some point. I'm like, is this even official? I don't know. Like, I don't need it, but I do have my diploma.
Yeah, Jesse did just graduate too. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. He got his master's, dog.
Yeah,
like, congratulations to Jesse the Tree.
Yeah, that's so great.
Love you.
Hey, what is your opinion of churches having tax-exempt status?
They should never be tax-exempt. I think it's time to end that. And if they can't survive without that, then so be it.
I just watched a really interesting segment on 60 Minutes last night that I'm going to have a discussion with Adrienne with after I let you go. Who should we get on the show that you think would be willing to join us?
I'm always thinking that. I'm always thinking about like who I want to help you guys get on your show.
It should be everybody. I
don't know why anyone would not want to do it. I'm currently talking to Buck 65 and urging him to loosen up, soften up to the idea that, you know, this is going to be good for him, enjoyable for him. So Buck is a creative juggernaut. And when he pretended like he was quitting music, I kind of like rolled my eyes and just looked at my watch and waited for the albums to explode out of his fucking crib. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll always keep my eyes peeled for who could possibly hop on. If people who are listening aren't watching it, this tape that he did would look like a great cover for my first mixtape, which was called You're in Trouble. That would have been a good cover for it.
Yeah. All right, I'll let you go. I do got to just hit you with these Sophie's choices since they are the thing, and then we'll let you out of here.
Okay.
They're not even that great because I wasn't going to do any, but I wrote some down. They were stuck in my head.
They're not even good.
They're
I gotta do them.
I gotta do them because it's like my OCD won't let me leave without it. All right, here we go. Say Anything or Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park.
Fran Drescher or Sister Act?
Fran Drescher.
And then Satan or Jesus?
Jesus.
Francis Louvre or Sistine Chapel in Vatican?
Sistine Chapel.
Perfect. That was it. And then I'll let people go back and figure out why those were the Sophie's choices that I came up with.
Okay.
It's such a pleasure. Always a pleasure having a chat with you. I really look forward to talking or hanging with the Strange Famous crew in
Denver.
In Denver. You guys.
Yeah, same with you. And I'll be hitting you up real soon about other stuff. But thank you again. I'm excited you get to be part of the Strange Famous Festival. I think people who are going there probably have seen a lot of your episodes, so you get your you'll be like famous not just for your artwork but for your podcast at this one.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
That's weird, right? It's different. Like Adrienne's already thinking about wearing a mask.
Yeah, she hates that already. Oh, she just logged out.
My computer stopped.
That's how bad she hated it. She logged out.
I don't know what you guys just said because my computer froze and left.
That's probably better. All right, Sage. Yeah, I'll just reach out again, and we'll just figure out the logistics of however we do that. I just don't want to be in the way, but I think it would be cool to get discussions with everyone at the show.
In the way. Don't worry about it, brother.
All right, man. All right, great talking with you.
You
Have
too.
a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Love y'all. Strange Famous.
Peace.
That goes once a yo-yo, a yo-yo, a yo-yo. She learned about the ups and downs. The kiddies want a photo. I let them take my camera so they can make their rounds. Tandiwe wants some paper.
Yeah. Bye, Sage. Sorry, my computer decided to force me off.
Yeah, that very interesting. Very interesting to hear some inside story. It's kind of cool to hear what he's saying because we know. I mean, what we do at festivals art festivals, different, but all those things that happen. It was just interesting to hear him talking about promoters doing certain things or even needing simple things like water.
It's so similar. It's very different, but so similar in the fact that events are put on the same way at a lot of places. And so some of the things that he has to struggle with or has had to struggle with are very similar to things that we have had to struggle with. Not being able to find water, not being able to find bathrooms, having to pay for parking.
No kidding.
Or even like just not having parking for these large vehicles that all the artists drive in a tiny city or a big city with no parking. Just a lot of the struggles are similar. And also the thing with him leaving his kids and family, that's really hard. That's the reason why we ended up homeschooling the kids and they came with us everywhere. I think we've only done 2 shows without each other.
Yeah.
And it is really, really hard. So.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have been able to do it.
And then the other thing he was talking about, how he was hallucinating.
Yeah, that's your big thing.
That's how we ended up with this house, because we were driving back to Salt Lake from this side of the country so often. I remember seeing elephants walking across Wyoming, and I was like, oh, I know there are not elephants here. This is really bad.
So when you say that without a real kind of without a explanation, so that that's how we ended up in Hannibal, because there were elephants walking across.
Well, we would be driving back. We'd be driving 20-30 hours back to hurry and replenish work to get back, and then drive all the way back out here for months at a time. And we would just be so exhausted that we were saying, we probably need to find a second place somewhere in Missouri where it's central, so that we can, just live and not have to be spending so many road hours.
Yeah, instead of having to drive 24 hours from Salt Lake City to Chicago to do a show that weekend, then to drive all the way back to Utah again. And what was happening is, and then when we get to Utah, we'd have to go to Denver the very next week. So what was happening was I would drive 17 hours the day, and then in the middle of the night you would drive the rest of the 17 hours, and so you would be hallucinating in the middle of the night because your lack of sleep and all of those things, or you were connecting
and then we were never having any downtime. There was no in between shows. We were driving back and forth. So
I have also really enjoyed not to point it out, but I did enjoy seeing Sage cry about I know when I talk about you or our kids in that same fashion that he's talking, it just something comes over me and I get emotional and I cry.
Yeah.
Anything to do with family, and so it was nice to see that.
Yeah, it is got to be really difficult to go. You're doing one thing and you're good at this one thing, and then all of a sudden, you get married, you have a kid, there's a pandemic, you don't leave, you don't do all the normal things that you did prior, so your life has totally shifted, but you are still that same person who has to do those things. And it's just interesting to have to be forced with that decision of, okay, I gotta go do this, but that means I have to leave all of this that I've never left in the last 3 years.
Yeah, I also like that he was saying he never really had anxiety, but that's sort of your same thing. You always said you didn't start happening until you had kids.
Yeah, I had no
started to worry about everything. But then, I thought it's a really interesting thought about the 2 things that he loves are now kind of will be competing against each other. Not competing against.
He'll figure it out.
Of course he will. But I'm just saying, I thought that's really interesting, that part where you first where it was almost like the first time having to deal with it. Like, wait a minute, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave my family.
Right.
And I really thought that was interesting, because that was what we were dealing with.
And then we dealt with it again when it was time for the kids to go to school. And then went in junior high and they became more social. And
yeah, it's a thing that parents
we constantly talked with our kids about it, though, of like, if we need to adjust and just you need to go on the road and I need to stay home with you. But for the 4 of us, we always felt like together was better.
Yeah, for context for anyone listening,
Oh, sorry.
No, you're not. It's just when we chose to have our kids, we made the conscious decision. Yes, it's time. We're ready to have kids, and we weren't traveling back then.
No.
We were selling my artwork on
eBay.
Both of our artworks we were selling on eBay, and so times changed, economy crashed. And then we had these kids, but we needed to go on the road. And it was initially like I thought...
The internet stopped for us. We were making money on the internet, and then just stopped.
But then I was going to go... Then it was like, okay, well, we got to go on the road. And the decision was made. I had thought, I didn't want to be away from my family. My dad had to do a lot of that for his work. And there was lost time from that. I remember very vividly, not vividly. I just remember that feeling of my dad being away all the time, and so we didn't want that for us.
And they were just babies, so we didn't really think much of it. We didn't know that we were going to do this. This was going to be a thing that we did.
So we went on the road and took the family on the road, and like you said, every few years it would come up, okay, is this a bad thing that we're doing to the kids? Maybe, but we always had the family decision. The four of us would get together and say.
And then, down the road, the kids may resent some of it.
Of course.
But they're going to resent.
No matter how you're raised, you're going to resent something with the way that it was raised.
But overall, I think we've at least tried to give them balance.
Yeah, I think
it's not always been successful, but
no, it'll be okay. But yeah, I thought that it was just really cool to see. Not cool. It was just very.
There were a lot
nice
of
to see
similarities, and I'm sure people doing other things can relate. There's a lot of people who go work construction, and then they have to leave their families for a month or two at a time. So.
Yes. Yeah. What about this? I'll talk to you that one off screen. So last night, I was watching YouTube, and I saw a clip from 60 Minutes that I guess aired yesterday.
Oh, the
Sunday.
Church thing.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a shakeup over at the LDS Church.
I'm actually surprised that this is the church because there are so many with so much money as well.
Okay, but listen. So they have over $100 billion in investments. And this guy this whistleblower, he was like an accountant for this firm that's one of their firms that handles their money. And he basically says it's a clandestine hedge fund, which it's like a secretive hedge. It's like this money it's supposed to be a tax-exempt charitable organization. So here's some numbers that were very interesting. Yearly, they make $7 billion in contributions from their 17 million members. Those contributions are a thing called tithing. Mormons pay the tithing as 10% of their earnings. They've got investments. Now, a charity company shouldn't be making money, so... Gosh, I'm sorry. I'm not expecting...
So, like...
The Cherry Creek or the City Creek
is an investment.
An investment. $1.4 billion they invested into that.
Like Apple rent. Like everybody pays rent. They have all these bougie...
Well, they bailed out this LDS life insurance company. They're not supposed to be doing that. They $500 million they put on that. Anyway, it's all this really crazy thing. They got shell companies. They're hiding assets. So... This guy was like, he's brought it up to the IRS and to the SEC, and apparently they're not gonna. Well, this other guy said that nothing's probably gonna happen from it, which it should absolutely, but probably nothing is gonna happen because of politics and a company with that kind of money.
It's a loss. You can't fight. They will hire the best lawyers.
Not only that, it's all money. They use that money to sway things. You can do anything you want with that kind of money.
That's what I'm saying. There's no fight.
It was really interesting that this whistleblower. It's wild.
It is, and just think they're a pretty new church. They're only a couple 100 years old. So think of like the Church of England, the Catholic Church, all of these churches.
Well, I'll send you the link. You should watch it. It's pretty interesting, and I'm not trying to do like a bag on that. I've never been a fan of churches being tax exempt. That means there was some other number, like in 1996 was when they put away about $1 billion, right?
Okay.
They're earning on that. They've earned up there now up to $150 billion off of that. They're earning
from 96.
And what happens because they're tax exempt, they're earning that. They don't have to pay out any taxes on that $1 billion that's been sitting there that is now accrued up to $150 billion. And the reason this guy came out, he was a devout Mormon, and he felt like he thought that the church, that like their whole thing is they're like trying, it's the things you can solve with $100 billion in this world.
I mean, if you just walk the streets of Salt Lake City, where the church is founded, right? Isn't it founded in Salt Lake? Well, where the church sits in Salt Lake City, and you see all of the homeless that is happening now. And of course, they have done some things and made some parts of the city look good, but there could be outreach programs. They could be doing a lot more.
Well, they did say they do
with
spend
this money that they're not being taxed on.
Well, yeah, so they do spend about $1 billion on charities and food drives and all that stuff, which is good.
You do see them sending, like, whenever there's a disaster anywhere, they send trucks and trucks full of food and medical supplies.
But and his point is this $100 billion is just sitting there.
Right.
They're doing nothing with it. They're investing, turning it into more and more money, and that's just wild.
And they're still seeking 10% from their members.
But they do pay for all of their operations. Something like 4% of their money, but none of it's coming from this hedge fund that they have. I don't know. It is
interesting though how they could invest that and solarize all of their churches and temples. There's so much they could do just for themselves, put it right back in, but then they probably own the power company.
Yeah, they probably.
Okay, we're done.
We are, and
we'll see you in June.
Yeah, I don't know. We might slip in
tonight.
We might slip in an episode here and there, but we do have quite a busy schedule, which means I won't have time to edit the episode to put it out. But I want to try to keep the things going. But if we do have to dip away for a month, we will be back. But as of right now, schedule looks pretty hectic. So thanks for joining us. Thank you, Sage Francis, for continuing to thanks for being guests, and thanks for opening up the Strange Famous family and the Strange Famous doors to us, because it doesn't
so supportive of this.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it seems very much like he's genuine about shit. I don't know. You know how I don't know. I get uncomfortable because I'm like that's your guys' scene. I don't want to try to insert us into that, but I guess we are. Shit.
You already have, so there you go. If you want to see Ty in person and pick up some of his art for yourself, go to artbyty.com and find the schedule and see if we'll be near town. Near your town.
Come see us. Come see us at a show, please. I like to meet you. And then, sure, if you happen to watch our show, when you see us at the Strange Fame Fest, say what's up.
Okay.
All right, everybody, have a great rest of your week. Thanks for watching. From all of us here, happy conversing, happy drawing. Fuck, how do I end an episode?
Goodbye.
No, that's how you end it. I wish you happy drawing, happy conversing, and thanks for conspiring with us. Peace.
DOD45
Thank you for joining in on yet another episode of the DOD45 Show. Please hit the subscribe or follow button so that you never miss an episode. You can even go one step further by leaving us a review on the YouTube stream or on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever it is that you stream our show from. You can find me at Art by Ty on all the socials or at artbyty.com. And if you'd like to follow the DOD45 Show on social media, we're at DOD45W on Instagram, or you can go over to our website at DOD45.com where you can shoot us an email, join our mailing list, and watch all of our past episodes. Consider joining us for a live chat on the YouTube premieres of episodes every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Peace.